Well, good morning, everyone. Hope your day is starting off well. We've actually had a couple interesting and exciting things take place this morning. We finally closed our gap that we've been waiting for. We've seen ADA actually fall into a bullish formation here, and we got a little bit of a spark to the upside here overnight. And we need to talk about all that, as well as a big announcement that is taking place this afternoon. What is the market doing in anticipation of that? We'll discuss all that and more in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So this is our first green day that we have seen since all the way back on Monday. And it's nice that we're finally starting to make a change as we get into the later part of the week, because most of what we have been dealing with is overnight selling. And we're basically having a problem absorbing a lot of this selling. However, this is now flipped and it's moving the opposite direction. You guys can see that this 12-hour candle that we're still dealing with, right now it's 5:48 a.m. Central Standard Time, is in fact green. Now, that doesn't mean we didn't have our weird things taking place this morning. You guys can see that just in last hour's candle, we had a massive wick to the downside. We actually saw ADA drop all the way from up in the 66, 67 cent range, all the way down to almost 65 cents flat. This is kind of what we were talking about potentially taking place yesterday. We fell out of that retest structure like we were talking about. Now, you guys can see we have very clearly started creating a descending wedge for ADA. This is a bullish formation for those that aren't familiar. And what this means is that we could, in fact, chop around in here. I mean, we're very close to the top of this trend currently, but we could chop around in here. You could see some lower levels leading us all the way up until the weekend. And maybe that's the moment that ADA decides to make its move. But it is bullish nonetheless, the fact that we actually wicked all the way down here and then immediately wicked right back up. So you saw both longs and shorts liquidated on this run here. And it doesn't seem like the market is going to be very quiet today. In fact, we have an announcement taking place this afternoon in the Oval Office that everyone needs to be aware of. This is going to be taking place at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely make sure you are glued to whatever media source there is so we can figure out what the heck this meeting is. But there are people that are trying to bet this. In fact, the insider who shorted the tariff crash is opening up a position again. He right now has $127 million short position open. It's a 20x short. Now, these don't always work out in their favor, and this could actually be what is setting us up for potential wicks to the upside. Obviously, there's no guarantees. This isn't financial advice or anything like that, but it does seem like the market got what it wanted here. We can see BTC sitting right on the edge of structure. We can see Ethereum sitting right on the edge of structure here as well, floating just above its 100-day moving average. All that is looking really good, and this is actually with something important that took place this morning, the close of our CME gap, the one that we had been waiting for and that we got very close to closing the two prior days. We did, in fact, close this on this wick down about an hour ago. So maybe that's what the market had wanted and was prepping for. I will say, actually, if we look at stochastic RSI in terms of I'm losing my train of thought. In terms of the CME chart for BTC, you guys can see we have entered this major oversold range, which again, this tends to lead to pivots in the chart. I tend to not track this too much here on the CME charts, but you guys can see a very distinct trend. Is this in fact where we are bottoming and getting ready for that slingshot back to the upside? That could be the case. Now, I will say that there are some people that are trying to put a lot of FUD out there in the market. For example, don't know who this guy is, but he said BlackRock is dumping hard, $960 million sold in a single day. What's going on? And there's a lot of fear mongering and people trying to create this FUD in the market. And frankly, guys, that's not what's happening. BlackRock sold $10 million worth of BTC over the last 24 hours. You guys can see on the institutional side, we did flip back towards the selling side of things. $104 million kind of wiped out that day of buying from the day prior. Could this be a trend flip, or is this kind of just the last of the institutional selling for the week? It seems like it's the last of the institutional selling. Just want to show you guys too, because we actually had another day of buying in terms of Ethereum, and BlackRock was buying here. So is this in fact where we once again, like we saw, what was that, about a month ago or so, where institutional money starts focusing a lot more on Ethereum again and less on BTC? Possibly. Remember how big some of those Ethereum days were? They were sizable, and that's exactly what started to get. I think it was September. Was it September? September. Started to get it pretty lively, and that's when we saw some of this nice price movement for ADA and many other assets in the crypto market. So today we're just gonna have to sit, watch, and maybe it was August. I think it was August actually. Anyways, lose my train of thought here, but We're again still seeing good volume across the crypto market. ADA is still over $1 billion in trading volume. In totality, the market right now is getting $200 billion per day, which again is still very sizable days. And right now we've kind of again gone through this big reset across the space where you've seen sentiment drop, where you've seen prices drop, where you've seen stochastic RSI drop, where you've seen RSI drop, and everything right now is kind of working into this area where it's just a beautiful bottom across the crypto market. And again, we just need a little bit of a slingshot out of that, maybe a little bit of push. So we'll see what happens here today, but can't complain about where we're at. Can't complain about how we've gotten through this week. Love to see the retests that are taking place, and we'll see what happens. So appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.